action team. You started this, what must be 25 years ago, Paddy, and since then, definitely, there's no doubt it has improved the lives and well-being of the people in the village. What was your thinking all those years ago?
Well, Marie, I was maybe a wee bit selfish because I was wanting to feel a wee bit better myself, and I needed something to do. So I've been off work ill for a while, and I just had seen a lot of things happen in other communities, which wasn't really happening where I lived. So that's basically where it all started from. We started a group up and tried to start to improve the village.
And you have done that in spades, Patrick, because one thing has led to another, to another, to another. And I mean, all the people that work with you, and there's quite a sizable team now, they're all volunteers. How many people would you have now involved?
I'm sure it's nearly up near 50 now, I would say, people helping out. There's people just maybe want to come and make tea in an event, and there's people that are never left the mill at all, you know. So it's a quite a big range of people.
And if somebody hadn't been in Clockmills, for instance, for 25 years, they would get a queer gunk if they went into the village today, because one of the first times we chatted in the programme, you had just sort of taken over a wee bit of waste ground beside a pub, I think it was, maybe years ago, and you had chickens. Remember Pecky and Becky?
Yeah,
They were well named. I don't know, they're maybe long gone now. And that was the start, with the very early days of it. And now when you come into the village, I mean, what you have now at the old mill is unbelievable. So it has transformed the physical look of the place too.
We have 4.5 acres there to maintain, so we're quite busy, and you know, there's been a plan all along that we want to do more for Clockmills and try and put it on the map.
Well, you certainly have done that, and by way of example, actually, stay where you are, Patrick, for a minute or two, because one of the last times I was in Clockmills, and this is a great example of what they do there, I was there to see the yurt that had just arrived, and I got chatting at this time to Jim Wooten.
This is an original Mongolian yurt. And you can see inside, you could run a circus in here, couldn't you?
You absolutely could, because it's like a sort of miniature big top, because it's completely circular with a conical shaped roof. Again, the red and white are the colours on the roof. It's gold and red on the door. And if we step through, now you have to dip down a little bit, but that's only...
I'm not going to carry you over.
No, okay. I'll get them talking.
And you can see that we have it arranged for a small, intimate meeting.
Yes.
We run courses up here. We're right next to the community garden, the allotment garden, and we run courses on growing your own, and we also do social and therapeutic culture for people with maybe suffering from depression or mild dementia. And this is a very intimate space where people can get to know each other.
So. And I remember the former yurt, the yurt before this one,
yes.
When I was in here before, a good few years ago now, there were tables, there were chairs, people were having sandwiches,
right.
tea, soup. There's a wee shed, which, let me see, is it still there? If I just look outside the door. Right beside the yurt is the shed where there were a couple of very busy ladies working the last time.
We get quite a lot of study visits from other community groups, come to see what we're doing up here. Ooh. And while they're here, we like to give them some refreshments.
Yeah.
So we make the refreshments in the other hut, which has got fully fitted kitchen. And if it's a good day, we'll take them out here on the picnic tables.
So, I mean, you're very heavily involved, Jim, in all the work that has happened in Clockmills over a number of years now, and the years are increasing. Well, how did you get involved in the first place?
Well, I'd seen Patrick Frew, our chairman, do a lot of work for the community in Clockmills. And when the group got a lottery grant to develop this place, they needed a bit of project management and a bit of financial advice. And that's my background. So I was asked would I help out. So I said yes. And I thought that was sort of a one-off project, but you do get drawn in.
Do you remember, Jim, Clockmills before Incredible Edible all those years and years ago, as I do, you know, as a teenager?
Well, you probably know it better than I am. I'm what we call here blow-in. I lived all my working life in England, and I came back here for a quiet time.
Until you met Paddy.
I think I'm back at work full-time now.
Yeah.
After I met Paddy.
You never forget meeting Paddy, I think. is the moral of that story. And many thanks to Jim Wooten, and all the best, Jim. Great having that chat with you a few years ago. Is the yurt still there, Paddy?
Oh, yeah, it's still there. It's currently going through a session where we're doing a lot of yoga. So there's quite a bit of meditation and yoga happening in it at the moment.
And what would you say now has been the reaction? If you were to sum it all up as years unfold, one year to the next, local people, I mean, I think there must be a great sense of pride in the Clockmills Community Action Team. It is something that puts a smile on people's faces and that they would be happy to tell other people about, would you not say? Because you are the envy of many other local community groups right across Northern Ireland, Paddy.
Well, as Jim was saying there, we are used as a wee site or an area for best practice, and other people come to see what we're doing. But, you know, Anne-Marie, sometimes you don't really stop and think of what you've done until something like this turns up where you're up for an award. You know, you have to take stock sometimes and see what things you've achieved. So you're usually far too busy doing things to realise what you've done.
Yeah.
So that's what I think we're doing. We're going through a wee period at the minute, a bit of reflection, and to see where we're going to go forward.
And that's why the timing of this nomination and this award, Paddy, is maybe very good for that, you know, notion of taking stock, because you will know in the autumn if you win. And isn't there also an online public vote to find the National Lottery UK Project of the Year? So that'd be a good one to get too, wouldn't it?
It would be. It'd be brilliant to get that now. But, you know, the lottery's been very good to us over the years and very supportive of some of the stranger things that we've tried to come up with, you know. Well, they've been very good to us in that respect.
I was thinking of credit, in fairness, credit where credit is due to the National Lottery. If people wonder where the money goes to from the tickets that you maybe buy every so often, here's one great example of it. Well, listen, the very best of luck, Patrick. Thanks so much for the chat this morning, and of course, continued success in all that you do. 21 minutes to 9 o'clock. You are listening to BBC Radio Ulster and Radio Foyle. This is Your Place and Mine, and this is a lovely song now, written by Jimmy Kennedy.
Red sails in the sunset, way out on the sea. Oh, carry my loved one home safely to me. She sailed with the dawning, all day I've been blue. Red sails in the sunset, I'm trusting you. Swift wings you must follow.
Anthony Toner and Red Sails in the Sunset by Jimmy Kennedy. And the story is, of course, that he wrote it one day when he was looking out over the harbour in Portstewart, and he saw the white sails of a boat called Kitty of Coleraine coming back into the harbour just as the sun was setting, which made them look red. And there have been, despite the weather, great sunsets this summer in between the rain and the thunder and the lightning. Ronan Lundy has been keeping an eye on them. You see, we do forget, as I look out the window here, Ronan, and see the rain coming down, as you are doing as well in Portstewart around the corner.
Absolutely, you're right.
But we forget, you see, how nice June was. And everybody's focused on the wettest July on record. But it still has been a fairly busy summer, would you say, round the place?
I would say yes, it has been. I do think maybe not as busy as what it has been in previous years, but yeah, you're right. There still is a buzz here, and I feel sorry for families. You know yourself. You remember your days when you went down with a bucket and spade and you took them onto the beach, and that was them happy for the day, and you crunched into a couple of sandy sandwiches. And now you're sort of like saying, well, what are we going to do? We're looking out over this weather and we're going to go, what are you going to do with the kids today? I feel sorry for families. But as somebody said to me, look, just wear the appropriate clothing and get out there and enjoy it. But June seems so far away, I'm afraid to say, Anne-Marie. So you're not going to try and cheer me up this morning. It has been the wettest July, and we can't deny it. And it's going to go into the wettest August at the moment. But I'm actually thinking that I'm developing webbed feet, the way things are going at the moment. But no, But no, but it is. 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 But it is.